Hey guys, good morning, everybody. Today is Thursday, July 15th. It is actually today's Friday. Let me check the date. I think today's Friday, right? Anyways, let me just set up the room real quick and then we'll get started. I lost track of this week. As many of you know, I've been isolating and indoors due to COVID. So I can't remember if today's Friday or uh Thursday. So let me finish setting up this room real quick. It's July 15th. 6:21 right now. Market's going to open in about 9 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and set this up real quick and we can get started with our session for this morning. So got this knocked out right there. A couple more things here to update. It is Friday. Wow. So the week's already over. All right, guys, happy Friday. Let me just finish updating everything here. Send out this link to you guys here in the premium, and we should be good to go. So this week flew by. All right. So link is sent out to you guys there. As people join the room, I'm going to go ahead and mark up the liquidity here on the 1 minute. Solid. So we did get some spikes in price during London and pre-market. I'll check the news to see if there was anything that was released today. I haven't really kept up with it. It's good. Thanks, Aaron. So there was PPI today, which I think you guys mentioned it means product price index. I know CPI means consumer price index, so I'm assuming PPI is product price index, but we'll see, or producer price index. Thanks, Aaron. Yeah. So we'll take a look at that shortly. See how that affected the market, and then we'll move along. So whenever taking a trade, guys, because I did see a lot of you guys take the that new pattern that I showed you guys yesterday, basically the engulfing. It's like a K2 reversal or whatever. You should still be trading the direction of a bias, right? Whether it be overall bias or even just the trend, because it is dangerous trading both ways, especially if you're just continuously trading both ways, because you obviously want to trade where you have confidence with the direction. So I just want to give you guys a heads up if you guys are trading that, just to be on the safe side, because if you do trade, both ways, there's going to be a chance, like a high chance, that you're going to get burned at some point. So just something to keep in mind. I'll continue to test it with you guys. If I see anything here, I'll maybe take it, but for the most part, we're going to be a bit cautious with that strategy. I don't want you guys to be over trading something that you're not completely familiar with. So there was actually one entry that came up right here, it looks like. Yeah, so the trend here is bullish. You can see that price was coming down around this point. It's an engulfing pattern right here. So this could have been taken for a quick 150 pips to full TP. So one that just happened right there. I'll be looking for them. I'll also be using them in conjunction with the variations. because everything helps, right? As many confluences and confirmations you have, the better. So let's see who's here so far. So morning, Cern, morning, Kenny, morning, Peter, morning, Patricia, morning, Shannon, morning, Funmi, morning, Jez, morning, Matt, morning, Randy, morning, Rashida, morning, David, morning, everybody. So let's take a look at the bias right now. Looking over here at sentiment, it's currently 55% short, 55% long, indicating that there's 55% of retail traders who are currently buying. So we typically want to do the opposite and sell. However, it's not a very strong bias. So this could really go either way. Looking over here at the fundamentals, it's currently up 351 points. So there's no overall bias right now. Price can really go in either direction. So we'll probably be using the trend to identify our bias for now until we can confirm anything on the other side. But right now, there's just not much for us to look at. Going over here to the calendar, over here for Friday, July 15th, looks like we had core retail sales and retail sales right here at 5:30, Empire State Manufacturing Index, import prices, and then Fed member Bullard speaking right now at 6 o'clock. So the Fed is speaking right now. We had news at 5:36, 6:15, and then 7. So let me just mark up this first. 5:36 and 6:15. So we had news at 6:15, which is right there. Mark that up. We had news at 6 o'clock. Which is right there. And then we have news at 5:30. There's a lot of news this morning. So ton of news right there. And then I think we have one more news event coming up right here at 7 o'clock. Okay. 7 o'clock right there. Solid. So everything here marked up. Looks like we're good to go. Morning Akil, morning Kwaku, morning David, morning Shannon, morning everybody. So looks like we're good to go. So there's no overall bias right now. Looking at the trend, we currently have a bullish bias. This could be temporary, so don't be too stuck on it. But we'll see what happens when the market here does open shortly. Market is opening in about 1 minute and 40 seconds. So the first trade we'll be looking for would be the breakout. There's no overall bias. We can kind of, we'll just see what the market gives us on open. But other than that, we just have one more news event at 7. Just keep in mind today's Friday. So Friday and Mondays are usually the riskier days to trade. Typically Friday because a lot of people are looking to exit the market for the weekend. Monday because people are entering the market from the weekend. So we'll see if we find something smooth here. If not, we'll be a bit cautious and we'll take whatever looks reliable. So one thing that I also noticed, guys, is if you guys are using the that high-low reversal strategy, typically you want to take like one trade per stride, right? So like whenever a momentum signal comes up like this, just take one trade within. You don't want to be over trading like I mentioned earlier, because I did show you like a couple patterns or like a couple possibilities of entries yesterday. And, we kept changing the strategy up so often because we just kept seeing so many entries. There's not going to be a lot of days like that. There was news yesterday as well with the Fed speaking, so volatility was high, but typically you're not going to see so many entries like that are going to be as smooth. So just keep that in mind. You're still looking for quality trades. I know there's a lot of entries that you guys can see using that strategy, but you want to make sure that you're still looking for quality entries and not just every single entry that comes up, even though it's for a one-to-one. Typically, you still want to take only the best trades, even if it's just like 1 or 2 trades a day that win. So market is opening right about now. This is the opening candle. In order to take the breakout, we have a bullish momentum right here. So with the bullish momentum, we're looking for a strong green candle in order to enter the breakout. So let's take a look at the fundamentals now that the market is officially open. It's currently at 452 points. It's up pretty heavy right now. So you guys want to be a bit careful with any of these entries here because it might be lopsided, as you can tell. So right here looks like it could be possibly an engulfing pattern, but not one that I would take because the trend here is bullish. Overall bias is slightly bullish. Looks like all the indexes are bullish as well. So if this closes as a strong green candle, this would technically be the breakout. However, you might want to be a bit careful taking it because it's a bit overextended. You can see prices have been pushing up since the London session or pre-market. So no breakout right there yet. Keep looking for it. Yeah, market's been pretty bullish since London. So it might be time for it to swing back down. I don't know if it's enough to really push 500 pips. So I'm technically looking for a retracement here. I kind of want it to retrace a bit, and then when it's done retracing, then maybe continue the ride up. But this is like way too overextended, so I don't think I would take it even if we get the breakout here. I might wait for a retracement, and then if it swings back up, maybe I'll take it for a partial move or I don't know, some sort of move, but not immediately. Because, you know, price will have to retrace at some point. Like you can see right here, price pushed up, then retraced, pushed up, retraced. Might be time for a reversal right here. This right here is an engulfing order, not yet. So it looks like it can be engulfing, but the bias is still bullish, so I'm not looking to take any sells here yet. So I wouldn't take the sell there. Let's take a look at sentiment again real quick. Sentiment is currently 54% long. Looking at the fundamentals, they're currently very bullish still. So I wouldn't take any sells here just yet. The momentum is still too strong. Eunice said CNBC just released news on US30. Yeah, so it says right here, Dow pops 400 points as Wall Street digests fresh batch of bank earnings, strong retail sales. So the news this morning was positive. It looks, or no, it wasn't. But yeah, it was. So core retail sales was bullish, where it was positive right here. So I think price is going to come back down. Typically, when CNBC reports something, market does the opposite. So right here, they say that the market is bullish. I think price is going to swing right back down now at this point, but I'm not going to be chasing any sells just yet. So this was the engulfing pattern I was just showing you guys. After seeing that news event, I probably would have taken it, but unfortunately I saw it too late. Would have been a full TP as well. Yeah, would have been solid. Still trying to get my head around the whole fixed TP stop loss thing. So I think it might be too close. Like for example, here it might have got stopped out before it hit TP. We still got to figure out what would be the sweet spot for that. Akil said no sell signal. Yeah. Well, the sell signal would be here because you'd be looking for a pending signal, Todi. I mean, not Todi, Akil. So for this reversal side right here, this would actually be okay because you're looking for a pending sell. You don't need a sell signal there. You're looking for a pending. So if you were to take that sell right there, it would be pending. Yeah, Todi said 100 to 300 would be best as usual. That's what I was thinking too. I try to keep it as close to a 1-to-1 as I could, you know, keep it, but it's difficult on the 1 minute because it's so volatile. Yeah, and I agree with you too, Patrick. Yeah, you said in back testing the always seem to be safe. Yeah, the thing is, like, it'd be safer, or I mean, it wouldn't be safe, but it would make more sense to put the stop loss at the size of the candle. Like, say, for example, you're entering a sell right here, just put your stop loss, like, you know, at the candle, but then it's always going to be a negative risk reward because your fixed TP would be smaller. But I mean, we'll just have to keep that in mind. And also, yeah, like what Jonathan said, you have to keep the spread in mind because the spread is going to come in the way sometimes, obviously. I mean, the spread's not super crazy, but it's going to get in the way. And one other thing too, when you guys are taking those entries, you guys have to be following it. You can't just like set and forget it, because I've noticed sometimes where price it'll like hit TP, and then as soon as it hits TP, it spikes down, right? And sometimes your spread gets in the way, so it doesn't close you out. You got to make sure that you're watching it so that you can pull out if it does hit your TP on TradingView. I've seen that happen to a couple of people yesterday. It was like really like it hit their TP and they had to pull out like in a rush because it completely reversed right after. Yeah, no, and I agree with you too, Tony. Tony said just add 1.5 points extra if and you're okay. Yeah, sounds about right, Tony. So there's no entries here yet, guys. There's no breakout, so I'm gonna take this off. Market open right here at 6:30, and there was no breakout entry. So we'll be looking for some variations here as we continue to move along. There's no overall bias right now. Price is pretty much just flat. So looking over here at the sentiment, it's currently 54% long. Looking over here at the fundamentals, they're currently 412 points in the green, so it's bullish. So we'll just be using the trend meter right here really for entries at the moment until we can get a confirmation of a bias. I mean, we have a bullish bias, but it's not very strong. It's just somewhat bullish. So we'll see where this goes. But currently right now we have a pending sell. So we need a sell signal to come up as a retracement, and then the next signal will be a buy, so we can start looking for buys. But I think I'm only looking for buys right now at the moment, since we have a bullish bias. Not very strong, but it is still a bullish bias. So there's nothing to take right now. There we go. With the retracement. So here's a retracement signal right here. This might be one of those engulfing patterns or the K2 reversal. That we've been watching for. See if it closes. One thing you want to be careful for though is that it's getting close to news price right here. So the red flags still apply with regard to news price and whatnot. This might be one of those high-low reversal entries that we were looking at. If it's iffy and it gets really close, I'm not going to take it, obviously, right? It needs to be like a clear pattern. It can't be like a small doji candle or something where you can't really tell, or if it's too small to really confirm. So just keep that in mind. So right there, for sure, wouldn't take it, close at the last minute, and no entry off that. See, Patrick said it's currently setting up on the 10-minute as well. Just hit on the 3 minutes for a 25.50 TP stop loss. Nice. So the 3 minute right here. Nice. You're talking about this one right here, Patrick. Yeah, so this setup right here, I mean, it wasn't in the direction of a bias, but it did hit right there, basically. For a quick little push. And also on the 5, same pattern, just slightly above. There. All right, so back to the 1 minute. Oh, there's actually one that's right there. Let's try to get into this trade. I got in kind of, let's see. So there's one, it came up like super quick right there. So whenever it hits TP like that, you guys got to pull out like right away, right? Because the thing is, you don't know how far it's going to hold for. It happened like way too fast. So I missed it. unfortunately. Nice. John actually took it. So John said he took it, got in and out quickly. Yeah, Jonathan. So for this here, it's a 1-to-1. You got to be in and out super quick. Like you can see that that entry came up right away, and then it came right back down. So if you didn't pull out in time, it would have reversed on you immediately. I think I'm just gonna stick on the 1 minute, guys, because if I keep going between the 5, 3, and other time frames, I'm gonna miss entries here on the 1. The 1 just moves like way too fast. So let's see. See if the sentiments change at all. No, not really. It's still there. Same with the fundamentals. It's like all the indexes are bullish, so pretty much everything. Price is right at news. Price is pushing above it. Let's see if it is a correction back up or even somewhat of a correction back to the upside. No, not yet. It's below. It's like it's hitting liquidity right there. But there is no bias. So the trend meter right here is blue. So it looks like another push right here. But it is right at news price right there. Nice. So Patrick actually took a 10-minute for 250 pips for full TP. Nice work, Patrick. Let me check that actually. It looks like you're trading both ways. Which is fine. I mean, if it works, great. I'm going to try to stick to some sort of bias here. So since we're looking for, or the trend meter is currently green, I'll probably just look for some bias here if I can see anything. Let's see if this actually holds. So nothing there. I'm looking for a variation for a buy right now. So I think if I can get a variation, I'll probably be likely inclined to take it. So if I can find something here where we have a double bottom, double wick, double body, even a V3, I'll possibly entertain it. Or even this right here, this might be an intraday entry as well if it closes. I don't think I would take it for an intraday entry though. Typically the candle will be too big. Like for example, if this closed here with a green buy signal, I probably would have skipped it. The candle is just so big compared to the others. It's like price is now in a range. Is Maddie here? Looks like Maddie slept in today. There was one of these entries. There's this entry that Maddie looks for. It's basically a high-low rejection. Off that low right there is a pending buy for this move right here. Here goes, price drops lower. If the if the bias shifts, or not really a bias, there's not really much of a bias here. If the trend shifts, then you can start looking for sells, or that's what I would personally be doing. So right now, looking at this here, it's still pretty flat. It's at 54%. Looking over here at the fundamentals are starting to drop a little bit. So this is indicating a buy. This is indicating a light sell. The trend meter right here is indicating neutral. Trend meter is currently blue. So if price continues to drop lower, the trend meter will likely shift red. And if that becomes the case, then you can start looking for some sells. It's a bit of a choppy market, which was kind of expected. It is Friday. And price is attempting to correct back down to pre-news, which was right here. So this is news price. Price is basically correcting back down, right? So news happened here at 5:30, price pushed up. Target price for correction is going to be down here, this pink line. So this is where we would be looking for any possible direction. It's just a correction back to news price down here. This is basically where price pushed. So news happened right here at 5:30. Actually, let's see, it dropped a little lower. The bottom of the candle. All right. So yeah, this would be the target if price does continue to drop lower. There was another reversal pattern right here. I personally would probably not have taken it because, well, the trend meter here was green for a second and then it turned back to blue. But when it was green right here, this would have been possible engulfing pattern in the opposite direction to the upside. So I'm just looking for this right now. I'm waiting for the trend meter to change colors, which is probably going to be either green or red. Right there, you can see it's green. I'm waiting for it to change colors so that we can have some sort of bias. I don't like when it's blue. Obviously, when it's blue, price is indecisive. And you can see right here that when price is blue as well, price pretty much goes into a range. So it's ranging right now sideways over here, which is not the best place to trade unless you're looking for, unless you have a big range and you can trade within it. Nice. CC actually took that one there too. Bethany said, I took that lower high because of the green engulfing. Both work, but definitely a little choppy. Nice. All right, so price is now shifted back up. Or I mean slightly. There is a V1 here, but it's going against the trend. So we're looking for buys here. So I'm looking for any variations, anything for me to take a buy. Not necessarily looking for any sell right now because the trend here is currently bullish. Trend is bullish. Sentiment hasn't changed much, and the fundamentals are also bullish. Market's moving actually a lot slower than I thought it would be. I thought it'd be moving quicker, especially with the news this morning and it being Friday. But yeah, it's pretty choppy. So it looks like you guys here sent in some profits. So let's see. Al over here locked in a nice profit of 648 for the day. Great work, Al. And we have Dell over here, current profit of 919. So solid work right there, Dell. Guys are pretty good so far. Scotty over here as well. Took two sells, locked me a total profit of 875. Nice work, Scotty. And then Kenny over here locked in a total profit of 434. Great work, guys. All right, looks good. Other than that, there's nothing really much to take at the moment. So let's see. And I should be paying. Next time I'm going to look at, I'm going to keep CNBC open for this breaking news, or maybe I could have an alert somewhere, notification set when CNBC releases news like this. Because if we took the trade here, so this news came out like right on market open, right? And this would probably be considered some type of speculative move or something like that. But if we see something like this, we can technically take the opposite. Because that came out right here at 6:30. We could have taken the opposite and just wrote it for like 1,000 pips or something. Right. Just like a fixed. I mean, it'd probably be, it wouldn't be a specific strategy. It's basically taking something speculative off news. So what I'm trying to explain here is that whenever CNBC releases something, it's usually late news, like really late. So when news like this comes out, you know, as we saw in open, you can typically do the opposite of what they announced on. So like, for example, they said Dow was bullish, could have just taken a speculative sell there and then wrote it down for like 1,000 pips. And if you guys have been part of K2 for a while, this is something I've gone over a lot. Typically with news too, like if we see news here and news is bullish or whatever, or I mean, typically when I used to trade news, I would trade the opposite. So like, for example, news was positive here. So you can see the bullish push from 5:30. 5:30 was right here. Price is bullish. When market opened at 6:30, I was expecting a correction back to the downside. So it kind of lines up. But yeah, I mean, all those types of trades would just be speculative. But usually, yeah, if CNBC does report something, usually the market does opposite because it reports on something that happened like hours ago. So they report an hour ago. They reported it here at 6:30, but the bullish push already ended. And it does the opposite. So trend meter here is back to blue. No clear direction at the moment. Price is swinging below the pivots. So there might be a shift now in direction of price. If that becomes the case, then we'll just start looking for some sells. And with the engulfing pattern, I know typically we like to look for a pending signal, but I started to know, well, I didn't start to notice, but I did notice too sometimes that if momentum is already pushing a direction, you probably take like the one entry that comes in that continues that way. Yeah, Kip said 1 minute pivot scalp hit right here. Bit of a risky move, but yeah, there was a pivot scalp entry that happened right here, guys. If you guys are not familiar with that strategy, the strategy that Kip is referring to is a K2 1 minute pivot scalp. Confirm overall bias. There's not really a bias, so price can really go either way. Confirm valid momentum signal. It's below the pivots. And that would have been the entry right there. Nice, Sisu caught it. I know Sisu still likes applying that strategy. Sisu applies the pivot scalp and the entry strategy still pretty often. And it works pretty well for him. So, you know, you guys should always find a couple strategies that you guys really like the best and just master those. That's the key thing. Another thing that you can look at. So here's another thing too. I know I'm probably throwing a lot of information at you guys, but a lot of this stuff is all relevant. So for example, here, I'm just going to replay for 1 second. You can use the other strategies that I just referred to you to help with your entry. So for example, here we had a pivot scalp, right? And I'm going to show you why this could have been a good entry. So there's a pivot scalp because we have a valid signal below the pivots. That would set up for a pivot scalp. Another confirmation that you can use is that you guys can use the same engulfing pattern that I just showed you guys, right? So right here, we have a confirmation of price coming down. If you look back, this will give you basically a hint as to what's going to happen next. So if you look back over here and you look at this these candles right here, this is an engulfing pattern, right? Because this candle here is pretty much engulfs this one. So this is a reversal pattern. You can see price comes back down, retraces up, engulfing pattern, followed by a pivot scalp. This would indicate that, you know, price is probably going to keep dropping lower. So you could have taken that trade and it would have hit your TP right there. So just keep that in mind, guys. Everything that I teach you guys here, it all comes full circle. There's not just one strategy for everything. You guys can use, and this is also a double, a V1, right? So for example, here, you can use this, this pivot scalp here, and then you use like what happened previously. This is a V1. This basically tells you price is going to keep dropping. So just, you know, keep that in mind. Use multiple strategies to confirm your entry. It doesn't matter what strategy you're using. Nothing should be used standalone. You should be using multiple things. Use different K2 indicators, use different K2 strategies to confirm your direction. Because all strategies work fine, but if you incorporate them together with other strategies, it will help you feel more confident about your entry. Yeah, Kodi said I'm using pivot scalps as well. What I said yesterday, you can use the new strategy or any variation for confirmation for the pivot scalps. Yeah, and I agree too, Kodi, 100%. So you can use it for, here's another example here. There's no entry right now, so there's nothing that you guys are missing. But let me show you guys another example right here. So looking at this, this is an intraday entry, right? This is something that that CSUK uses very often. It's the 1 minute intraday momentum. You're confirming a valid K2 momentum right here. We have a valid buy signal. Confirm the trend meter matches, trend meter is green. And then you enter on the open of the falling candle. Looking at this right here, you can look back to see what happened prior to it, right? Looking right here, there's a double body. So what does a double body confirm? It confirms a variation entry, just like Kodi said, right? You have a variation entry right there. Oops. You have a variation entry right there. So this confirms that price is likely to keep pushing up. This is also an engulfing pattern, right? Because this is engulfing. So V1 engulfing, intraday entry. If you were to take this here, odds are it's probably gonna hit TP, which it does. So just keep that in mind, guys. You know, I'm trying to stimulate your mind because I feel like a lot of people are looking for just that one strategy that's always going to hit. You're typically not going to find that very often. You're going to have to move between strategies. But if you could find one or two strategies that you like very well, just look back to what happened previously. Again, right here, another example. There's an intraday entry here. Valid momentum signal for a buy, trend meter is green, price is above the pivot. So this qualifies for two strategies already, pivot scalp and intraday. You look back to the previous low right here. What do you see? You see an engulfing pattern, plus you see a double bottom, or not double bottom, a double body for a V1. This indicates that price is probably going to keep pushing up. So if you're to do that, you do the same thing. Odds of it hitting, very likely. Full TP right there. So just keep that in mind, guys. Don't get too stuck on like one thing. There's another pivot scalp right here, not one that I would necessarily be looking to take just yet because there's no hint here indicating that price was going to, you know, push up. So I typically look at the most recent low. So for example, I know there's a pivot scalp right here because it is above the pivots. And it actually already hit TP. But looking back over here, I don't see an engulfing pattern. I also don't see any variation or anything like that. So I would have skipped this if and when I saw it. So here we go, as price starts to move a bit crazy. Big, huge spike to the upside. It's a news candle. So here's the news at 7 o'clock. This is why we try to avoid news. Put a news line right there. Take this off. So let's check the news real quick. News right here at 7 o'clock was prelim UM consumer sentiment. I'm assuming it was positive. Thanks, Brian, for the heads up. Yeah, so it was positive. So positive news right there. Huge bullish push. Nice. Kevin just posted his profits right here as well. He said, pay attention, guys. Sean is literally giving us the cheat code. I do exactly that. I use multiple trade strategies to trade. So nice work, Kevin. Kevin over here locked in some pretty huge profits right here. So great work per usual. But yeah, guys, I'm trying to give you guys as much information to help you guys really analyze the chart. There's no real plug and play type strategy. I mean, we do have the plug and play type strategies, but that's just the foundation. That's so that you guys know when to enter a trade. But the real skill comes from looking back at most like patterns right before it to identify if it's really going to play out or not. So you probably want to wait a little bit for the market here to smoothen out before you look for any other entries. So just chill out for a second and wait for a confirmation. But so here's the thing. The thing with applying the strategies here, I think the main strategies that you guys should be looking for entries would be the momentum signal, because if you guys look at the momentum signal, if you take entries off these candles, it typically keeps pushing in that direction, right? So like, for example, here, I can see a bunch of entries here for pivot scalps and for intraday entries. So this green candle right here, this would have been a win. This green momentum signal right here would have been a win too. It's a pivot scalp and an intraday entry. This one right here would have been a loss, but I would have skipped this one because there was no hint here that price was going to continue pushing up. There was no V1. There was no, I mean, there was an engulfing pattern right here, but I would probably tie that in with a variation. So I think those are the two main keys there. The two main keys, or this is like something that would be a very high quality trade strategy. Here, I'll just put like simple quality entry. So strategy, intraday entry, intraday strategy, pivot scalp strategy. Confluence that you want to be looking for is going to be a variation prior to entry and high-low reversal. This is probably like the easiest way to apply it and to find quality trades. And if you guys want to go back and back test this, I mean, feel free. And this is probably the easiest one. The reason why it's easy is because you're just matching colors. For the intraday, you're just looking for green and green, green and green. Or a pivot scalp, you're looking for an entry that's above or below, one of the pivots. Going back over here, there's another one like right here, right? So I'm just going to replay this. There's nothing to look for right here, guys, because we're looking for price to retrace a little bit. We're going to wait a second before we look for any entries. But let me just replay the chart right here and just show you again another entry using what I just showed you guys. So right here, this is a bit risky. I probably wouldn't take this one due to the fact that it's at, I mean, it's like right at news price. But yeah, looking at this here, actually, this is not one that I would take. There's an entry right here. A lot of red flags. It's at sessions. It's also at the news price. But looking back over here, there's no variation and there's no high-low reversal. So I probably would skip this one. Going back to this one over here. So I can't really tell if this is a high-low reversal. It looks like it might be an engulfing pattern right there. So if you're looking for a buy right here, this is actually a cleaner buy. This would fall under both strategies. It would be an intraday strategy and a pivot scalp. Looking at this right here, this could possibly be a high-low reversal. It's kind of hard to tell with the prior candle, but looking at the next low over here, you can see that there's a V1. There's a double body rejection right there. And then there's also engulfing, right? So with that said, if this one doesn't apply, you can look back to the previous one. And if you were to take this trade right here, straight to TP. So just keep that in mind, guys. The more tools in your arsenal, the better. You don't have to use just one strategy all the time, because sometimes that entry might not never come up. So back over here to the current price, nothing's really happened. This big push right here, I think price may correct back down. This is too big of a spike. And we'll see if we could find something here. Hopefully we could find something slightly. Yeah, Fahad said, damn, spike 2,000 pips in less than 30 seconds. Yeah, the news candle right there. News has its effect on the market. Let's see, Tody said when you enter a trade and if your stop loss is above or below all pivots, there's much bigger chance not to be stopped out because the pivots protect your position and price could reject from them. Yeah, and I agree with you too, Tody. So I shouldn't have deleted that, but it's okay. I should have saved that thing that I marked up earlier. But basically, I think the safest strategy that you guys can apply is a combination of the intraday plus pivot scalp strategy. So like one of these right here. This is probably like one of the easiest and safest strategies that you guys can apply, but you'll have to use this in conjunction with an analysis of like what happened prior, like basically what happened at the previous low, because that will give you a hint whether price is going to keep pushing that direction or not. Yeah, Tony said as long as price is rejecting from pivots during the trade, you're okay to hold on to it. Yeah, and I agree with you too, Tony. That's why I use all of these indicators here. Everything helps like one way or another. There's always going to be some sort of benefit to having it there. Let's see. Price is pushing back up right here, but it's right at opening price. And when I talk about variation, I'm not talking about the actual strategy, right? I'm just looking at the, where I'm referring to like the pattern. So for the variation here, I'd be looking for either a double body or double wick rejection off the high low. And we'll probably go over this more in detail during the next mentoring session, guys, because I know a lot of you guys want to like learn about this and like have more examples and whatnot. We can't really do it here during the live because we're looking for some entries to take, but I'll keep that in mind for the next mentoring session so that you guys can see more examples of how it's applied. See, John said he took the V1 double body pivot rejection. I was thinking about taking that too, John, but I don't think there's, or are you talking about this one right here? I don't see anything here. I was looking at it. I was looking for a possible entry, but the body wasn't aligned right there. It was close, but not exactly on point. You can see the green candle is slightly above it. Also, it's at opening price right here. So one of the red flags to possibly be careful with. You know, I'm kind of curious now. With some of these here, because I think those strategies that I was just showing you guys, it actually works really well in the higher time frames, like on the 5-minute. But I mean, you have to play around with it. So John, I think that trade you took should have hit TP right there if you held on to it. Nice. Yeah, so John actually hit his TP for that. It wasn't a valid entry, but I'm glad that it hit your TP still. So you guys can get lucky every so often, but you shouldn't like depend on it as much. Or try to refrain from taking trades like that. Because I take them too sometimes. Like sometimes I'll take a random trade on accident and I'm like, oh crap, I'm stuck in this trade. And then it ends up hitting TP, which thankfully it does play out. That's why you want to trade with a bias. So like, for example, here, John took an accidental trade. He thought this was a V1. It wasn't. However, he was trading the direction of the trend. Trend meter down here is green. So odds of it pushing back up are very likely. Also looking over at the sentiment, it's still flat. So if the sentiment is flat like this, you can really trade either way. Fundamentals here are still bullish. So this would be a hint to still take buys because the fundamentals are bullish, technicals are bullish, sentiment is neutral. So looking over here at the overall bias, you still have two that are aligned. You don't have retail sentiment, but you do have fundamental bias, which is bullish, and you have technical bias, which is also bullish. Man, I was hoping this would retrace a little bit or give us an opposite signal so that we can possibly look for an entry here, but not looking like it right now. Units of the strategy you just told about played out in the 5 minute. Let me go over there real quick. Yeah, it looks like it came out right here. Right, Eunice? Did it hit CP already? Yeah, it looks like it probably hit CP. Yeah, it did. So the same thing that I just referred to you guys here, I just like literally the strategy that I just explained to you guys. It played out again right here. Nice, Eunice. Thanks for the heads up. So for this right here, there's a pivot scalp entry because price is above the pivots and we have a valid green momentum signal. The trend meter here is also green, so this indicates that it's also an intraday strategy. So you have two strategies that line up off this one candle. You look back at the previous low right here. What do you guys see here as a variation, right? There is a double body rejection and it's also engulfing. So this is like basically like an A1 entry. Everything that I mentioned, and I'll list it again over here. Or I don't need to list, you guys already know what to look for. I just mentioned it. This is basically something that will almost have a very high likely possibility of it hitting. So like right here, it's a pivot scalp, intraday entry. We have a V1. It's also an engulfing pattern because you have this candle here bigger than this one. It's a reversal pattern. So price pushed up here, came back down, gave it engulfing and a variation. This is indicating that price is going to reverse the other way, which it did. You have a momentum signal right here indicating a continued push. So odds of it pushing higher are likely. It pushes and it hits TP right there. So if you guys are looking for something that's like more, I guess, more concrete and something that's easier to really identify, just look for these intraday entries or these pivot scalp entries. The reason why it's easy because you have an actual signal they're telling you to buy, right? There's no guesswork. Like you're not like, oh, do I take this entry or not? Or, oh, is this an engulfing pattern? No, you're looking for a buy signal or a sell signal that matches with the trend meter or, you know, above or below the pivots. And then from there, you guys can take the entry. So nice work, Eunice, on catching that right there. Yeah, Eunice did a high-low reversal plus pivot scalp ticket for 250 pips TP. Great. Yeah, no, it's great work, Eunice. And you guys can see it does work on other time frames. It's not just the one. You can use it on the 5. I think for the 5 here, you can even probably use a 1-to-1 risk to reward. Or I don't know, it might be too close. Probably just keep it at 50. Yeah, it's too close. You have to keep it where it's originally set for. So back to the 1 minute over here. No entry yet. And this works both ways with variations too. So if you guys remembered yesterday, I did mention that if you guys see a variation, look back to the previous low, see if there's another variation, and odds are it's likely to hit. So, or do the same thing that I just showed you guys. Like look for, if you do see a variation, look back and then see at the previous low if there's another confirmation of it pushing back up. So let me just show you one example right here. So right here, there is a this is a V3, right? So we have a low with the red candle. It is followed with a green candle, right? So if you guys are familiar with the variation strategy, the V3, this is a V3 right here, right? So this is a V3. What you want to do is look back to the previous low. You look back to the previous low over here. What do you see here? It's a V1, right? V1, V3. So if you have two variations followed by each other, this is really what you guys have to do. Just look back to the previous low. It gives you basically a hint of what's going to happen next. Not that I would have taken this trade because it's right at news, but I just want to show you an example of like how this would be a V3 and you have a previous variation below it. So if you have that right there, and then you go for, I know it's a minimum 300 pip TP stop loss. It's too low. So if you want to use like the typical 1030, the negative risk toward, which I know it sucks, but it does help with the cushion. If you were to take that trade there for a V3, you can see that it does hit TP at that point. I mean, even if you want to try with the smaller 150 both ways, it still works that way as well. So yeah, I know this is probably a lot of information for you guys on a Friday morning, but these are ways to increase your possibility of winning. So I'm not sure if you're on here, Alexander, but if you guys sat in on Alexander's mentoring session with me, you know, his main question was really, how do I look for quality entries? And that's one of the ways. You basically just want to see what happened prior to your entry and then see if there's something else that you can take. So like again, right here. So there's a V1 right here, but I wouldn't have taken this V1 because there is nothing prior to it. Like this right here is not a valid V1. If there was a V1 here and another V1, then yeah, maybe I'd take it. There's also no pending signal. Nice. All right, Randy. So Randy said I'm done for the day. Thanks, Sean. See you on Monday. So yeah, I'll see you then. Randy, have a great weekend. Yeah, no pending signal of this either, Akil. So I'll keep looking. So here's the thing now. Now that we have a V1 right here, if the next entry gives us some sort of buy, which falls under any of the other strategies, then I'll possibly be looking to take it. Just, you know, keep that in mind. And this is how you can prepare for a move too. So for example, you already see a V1 here. For the next entry, if you see a variation, or if you see a pivot scalp, or if you see an entry, it's probably going to hit. Nice, nice. Great work, Randy. Yeah, so Randy said exceeded his profit target already. Quick day for him. So yeah, Randy, you know, conserve your profits and see you back here on Monday. All right, other than that, let's see if there's anything else here. Looks like market kind of died down a bit. But since we do have a V1 right here, I'm looking for another buy. So I want price kind of push around a bit. I'm looking for the retracement, which is fine. Most of the strategies we need a pending signal anyways, or a valid signal. So let this push around a bit before we can identify an actual entry. So those are the main things that you guys want to look at. Whenever you guys look at an entry, just look back at the previous high low. So if you're looking for a buy, look at the previous low. If you're looking for a sell, look at the previous high. And that'll give you a hint as to, you know, where price is likely to go next. Still nothing right here. It looks like price is now ranging, unfortunately. So here's the range. Price pretty much broke into this range. Now it's kind of stuck in it. All right. So there's nothing going on here. Nothing on the 3-minute. So here's another example here on the 3-minute. You guys can see that that pattern I showed you, I mean, it works for everything. There is a momentum signal right here. It lined up with pivots and trend meter. Had a V1 right there following or prior. Engulfing. And full TP over here off of 3. Right there. Back to the 1-minute, nothing here. Okay, so price is now retracing. This is fine. All right. So an invalid sell. That's fine if it closes for an invalid sell. But it hasn't really done much. It's still back in the range. So there it goes. It continues sideways. So 10, if anything came up here. There's another example right here, guys. If you guys want a 1-to-1, the 10's actually a bit smoother. So like right here. You're not going to find as many entries on the 10 though. But I'm showing you guys the same pattern on all the time frames. There was one on the 3, that buy, one on the 5, that buy, and one on the 10 that actually happened earlier this morning, 3 o'clock. Another one right here as well. So valid buy signal. Yeah, valid buy signal. Trend meter is green above the pivots. This is for a 1-to-1. Looking at the previous lows, this confirms the continued push up. We have a engulfing pattern right here. And then right here, you have a V1 double body. Take that for buy. And full TP. It's got close to stop loss, but it didn't trigger it. It's straight to full TP. Yeah. Thanks, Sisuk, for reminding me about this yesterday. Sisuk's the one that's actually been taking a lot of these trades. He's the one that applies it this way. He mentioned it yesterday. And I was like, oh yeah, that's what I used to do before. I stopped applying it for a bit because we got too caught up with these variations and these other 1-minute strategies that I forgot that like the bare basics actually works even better. I'm sure Sisuk's still here. But yeah, that's what Sisuk's been applying. That's how Sisuk's been locking in like some heavy profits. You guys have probably seen his profits here too in the profit post, you know, right there. Heavy profits by Sisuk every day. It's looking for those quality entries. So back here on the 1, there's nothing for us to take still. It's getting close to 7:30. So unfortunately, it looks like the market volatility kind of dies a bit, then it picks up, but there's not really much for us to take here. Yeah, C6 said the trading is still solid. They all hit, just takes time to commit to actually learning 6-minute videos. Yeah, and I agree too, C6. You know, all the strategies work. You just need to use a you just need to use as many confluences to confirm your entry. because you guys will see a lot of entries on the chart. It's just how quality is that entry, right? In order for you to confirm that, you just look back at the previous high low and see if there's some sort of storyline there. Kip said the 1 minute high low from news hit high. Oh yeah, no, that one for sure too. And this one right here. So Kip was talking about the high low entry. So there was a high low entry that was right here. And you guys can use the same exact thing that we were using earlier, right? So there's a high low entry right here. It's for a quick 100 pips. So you got really close to it. It's probably still running. But yeah, I mean, you guys can use the same thing that we used earlier to confirm that. You just want to look for as many confluences as possible. That's really what it is. Yeah, no, Kip said almost hit, I guess, but it hit for me because I got in at a discount. Yeah, no, definitely. Probably got in when it pulled down a little bit, or you got in at a better time. See how far it retrace. I mean, it's technically still running. But yeah, basically Kip saw a high low here. And when you see a high low or something like that, you just look back to the previous lows to see if there's any hint that price is likely to keep pushing up higher, right? So like looking at, looking at the previous lows over here, there is an engulfing pattern. Plus there is a, I actually took that trade, Kip, thanks. I entered late. So right here, I saw that it was still running. So I actually entered late. Skip did identify this. So I actually entered late and it just hit my TP right away. When price was right here and it came back to entry point, I entered for a buy. Thanks, Kip, for that hookup, basically. So same thing that Kip was looking for. You have an entry here, right? Just look back at the previous lows. So since you're looking for a buy here, you just want to look at the previous lows, right? Here's an engulfing pattern. We have a low with the red candle. It's engulfing by the screen one. You look over here, there's another engulfing pattern, or it's basically, it's either engulfing or it's considered like a V. No, it's not a V1, it's another engulfing. And then another one right here. So there's basically 3 engulfing patterns that came up at each and every low. So there was engulfing pattern here, engulfing pattern here, another one right here. And they all confirm that price can keep pushing up. You had an actual buy entry right here. And this allowed for the push to the upside. So, you know, I think I might have to revamp the strategy videos, guys, because the thing is, I was teaching, well, not necessarily, I don't have to. The strategies that I was showing you before, because I was basically showing you guys the foundation. So like I was showing you guys different patterns to look for. So like the V1s, V2, V3, those are all different patterns. They're all reversal patterns. It's harder to see when you're looking from a naked chart, but with the indicators, it helps you identify where these reversal patterns are coming up. So same with the engulfing, or what we call the K2. Where is it? It's not even on here. Let me refresh this real quick. So the same thing that I showed you yesterday, the engulfing pattern, right? Which falls under a strategy. It's the reversal strategy, high-low reversal. This here's a strategy, but it can be used as a confluence. So like, for example, Kip saw a high-low here. So I'll probably have to bunch up these together. So let me see, K2 strategies. Strategy patterns to confirm for confirmation. So K2 variation strategies, K2, I forgot what the other one, K2 high-low reversal. I think that's about it. These are just, they're K2 strategy patterns used for confirmation. So like you can use any of the other strategies like a high-low right here, and then just look back to the previous high lows. Or so if you're looking for a buy here, you're gonna look at every low. and you're just going to confirm if this is a continued push up, right? So this will confirm if it is a continued push up. So if you go back to every low here, basically, this indicates that it's in a strong bullish bias because you have the engulfing, or we'll call it reversal. So reversal, 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 and then right here, another reversal. So reversal, reversal, V1, another reversal. We have an entry here. This will indicate that it'll probably keep pushing up higher. And if I see an example for a sell, I'll show you that as well, but I don't think we're gonna get one today. Yeah, I guess I gotta make another video to explain that to you guys, or we'll go over it in the next, hey, Maddie just joined. Maddie finally made his way to the live. I'll make another video and we'll go over in the next mentoring session examples of, you know, how this is applied. Yeah, I don't want to see anything else right now. Yeah, Maddie said just woke up, damn it. Yeah, I know. I realized you weren't here, Maddie. I'll go over this stuff with you later. Or actually you already know what it is. It's basically what we've been talking about. I kind of just told everybody we were talking about were like the variations and stuff. Like if you have a double variation, but I found a better way to explain it. Yeah, I'll just hit you up on that later. Nice, Jonathan. So Jonathan took a quick sell here, double bottom, or the double top actually. He identified the double top right here and he took it for a quick little sell. I don't recommend people do that, but it worked for Jonathan, so nice. And that's another pattern too. I might create another video for like patterns to look for. I'll just create like a reversal pattern strategy video, because a lot of these things I don't really look at. Like for this here, this is something that Kevin looks at a lot, right? He'll look at like price action where there's a double top. I don't really have to look at it because I could just see it by not even thinking about it. Because once you draw the high there, you can kind of see if a double top or a double bottom or something like that comes up. But I feel like for a lot of people, it needs to be illustrated so that you guys can actually understand it. Yeah, just we watched the live this weekend, Maddie. I think it's better for you to actually see the examples. But it's not that it's not that difficult. It's something that you're already applying. It's just I haven't like openly explained it. Because a lot of this stuff just it's like I don't know, I feel like a lot of these things it just shows up in my head, so I don't have to really think about it. But for people who don't understand it, it'll you know, it's easier for me. And this helps me too, because now that I'm explaining it to you, I'm actually like consciously looking for these things. Because a lot of the times I'll have an entry, I'm not really looking back to what happened previously. I'm kind of just continuing on. Yeah, there's nothing right now at the market. Let me check the other time frame, see if we can find anything here. So there's nothing here on the 3, there's nothing here on the 5, there's nothing here on the 10. The market's kind of just dead right now. This is the NASDAQ 100. Here's another one right here. So I'll just show you guys, I'll show you an example right here, Maddie, since we don't have anything for us to take at the moment. So let me show you guys an example again of what I've been showing you guys. So basically, you know what, actually, never mind. I thought there was something here on US30. Kwaku said, have a great weekend, guys. Thanks, Sean. Definitely, Kwaku. We'll see you on Monday. So yeah, if you guys are done trading for the day and you guys have met your profit goal, I mean, you guys can just call it a day if you really want to. There's not really much for us to take at the moment. Unfortunately, it looks like the volatility is kind of dying down from the weekend. A lot of people are actually pulling out for the weekend, so it's just you're getting a lot of a flat movement here. There's not too much to follow through with. But yeah, Maddie. So basically, what I was showing people here earlier was actually Nasdaq's kind of choppy. I don't think this is one I personally want to use it on. Oh, this is choppy right here, actually. You know, let's just stay away from Nasdaq because I don't want this. I don't want the same issue where I trade on Nasdaq and it blows my account on MFF like it did last week when I was trading gold. I'm just gonna stick to US30, so that there's no confusion here. Because I've seen sometimes people will see my analysis for Nasdaq and they'll take the trade on US30 and they'll be super confused. The thing is, they don't mirror each other. They do the opposite sometimes because they're totally different assets. So I think I'm just going to stick with US30, guys. If you guys want to try this on other assets like gold, forex, or Nasdaq, you know, feel free to try it out. But for the most part, I think for me, I'm just going to stick with US30. I don't want to cross trade assets and then end up having an accident where I end up accidentally blowing an account like we had this week. Akil is asking, what's the news looking like for next week? Let's check. So for next week on Monday, we have news at 7, NAHB Housing Market Index. This is the monthly news event. So nothing too crazy on Monday, but keep in mind that this can change. So there's like some news events here that are already calendared, but they can be removed or they can be added. So you want to check at the beginning of the week. On Tuesday, we have building permits, housing starts. So it looks like a pretty slow week for the most part. I think next week is Fed week. It's the middle of the month. Wednesday, existing home sales. Thursday, unemployment claims, Philly manufacturing index, natural gas storage, CB leading index. And then I think that's it. And then on Friday, flash services PMI. So there's a couple news events next week, not too many. I thought it was Fed week, but I think this is Fed week. Yeah, the Fed did speak a lot this week. So this was Fed week, actually. Fed member Bullard spoke today. So next week, there's not really too much. Okay. I think Tuesday would probably be, Monday, Tuesday is probably gonna be a bit slow. Monday will pick back, Wednesday will pick back up. We have medium news here. And then Thursday, Friday should be pretty volatile. We have unemployment claims, Philly, Fed manufacturing index. I think this is going to be negative, of course. And then flash services PMI. So yeah, not really too much next week, but just keep in mind that the calendar can change. It's not necessarily going to stay that way. All right, so price is dropping right here. Check this real quick. Oh, whoops. I think I took in, I'll send you guys my profits for today. So I did take, had been an accident, my bad. I didn't even realize I took this trade. So looking at my account over here, I think I took, oh, at 640. I took like I accidentally clicked earlier. What was that 640? Can't tell if I posted or if I took something. But it looks like, because I'm looking at my profits for the day, I have a loss at 640. I think I might have accidentally clicked when I was going between my charts. But it's okay. I made it back on like that last trade. the high low, and then the other trade from earlier today. So I'll take a screenshot of my profits real quick, just to show you guys, what I took on my account. I only took a couple trades, nothing too crazy, but I do have a loss. I don't know how I had that loss. Looks like I had my TP stop loss already set from, I can't even remember what trades I took myself. I'm in profit today, but I did have a bit of an accident. And it happens sometimes, just misclick. And since I'm analyzing, I'm not paying attention. It's the same profit across my other ones. $16.40. Looks like there's some slippage, or I don't know, spread issues with MFF. 16.40, 10.60. Yeah, so here, I'll just post my profits that I took for today. I mean, there was no official trade, so there was nothing for us to necessarily count, but here are my profits over here. I had an accidental loss. I don't even remember taking that loss or taking that trade at all at 640. I know I was explaining some stuff to you guys, so I think I might have misclicked when I was looking. But yeah, here's my FTMO. You guys can see I have a loss there. It's set at 150 pips, so I think there might have been a trade that I was kind of showing you guys, and I accidentally clicked when I was going over to my MC4, and I took it, but thankfully I had a stop loss, so it just pulled me out. I can't remember. It happened at 640. So it was like earlier in the session. I might have to rewatch this this live to see if I missed anything, or if there was something there that I took that. But whatever, I just want to show you guys what I took. So this is the trade, the high low that we looked at with Kip. So thanks, Kip, for that call out earlier when he saw the high low entry. It looked like a good trade, so I entered late. I took it for only 100 pips. This was an entry earlier. I forgot what this was. I forgot what these two were, but it looks like I had a fixed TP stop loss for 150. I think I might have been showing you guys an example. And then when I was going between charts, I accidentally clicked to get in, or because they happened right after each other. Or you know what? I think I might have thought, yeah, okay. I think I thought I was logged into my the trial account, the trial account that I showed you guys yesterday. I think I was logged into that, and I accidentally, or I thought I was, but I was logged into my actual live account, and I took it on here. But it's okay. I mean, I'm in profit for the day. I'm up 1,200 off this one, 1,070 off this one, 280 on this one. And these are my MFFs. So you guys can see there's a big price difference with my MFFs here. Like you guys can see the huge difference. Like these are supposed to be around like 1,500 per trade. Right here was like, it gave me slippage that was against me. It's closed me out at 1,500. It actually closed me out at 1,640. And then this one right here is supposed to close me out at 1,500 as well. This was supposed to cancel each other out, but it actually gave me less profit. So yeah, like what Patricia said, MFFs sucks lately. And I agree. Yeah, they've been sucking lately. Miles said, I thought you lost your MFFs. Yeah, I did. These are new counts. Weren't you the one that asked me, Miles? I thought you asked me like a couple days ago if I got new accounts. It might have been somebody else. But yeah, these are brand new accounts for MFF. I mean, just because I lose the account, I'm not going to not trade it anymore, right? I'm just getting a new account. You just pass the challenge again. It's not too difficult. So I did lose the accounts on, I forgot what day was it, Monday or Tuesday. I took the gold trade that we were looking at. I took it at a wrong lot size, and it automatically violated the daily drawdown limit. It was like a 50 lot because it was at times 10. No, these aren't passed yet, Miles. These are brand new accounts. There's still a 10-day minimum, Miles. Yeah, because Miles said, okay, cool, you passed super fast. No, these aren't passed yet. I just started these today. Because I bought them yesterday, but they weren't connecting to my copier. I'm not sure if you missed the live session. You probably weren't here yesterday, Miles. So that's probably why you're not familiar. with the account, but we talked about this yesterday. I bought them yesterday, tried to put them to my copier. Copier wasn't setting them up. So this is my first day actually trading on these here. I just added them to my copier this morning. Humberto said done for the day, traded Asia, London, barely thinking now. Thanks, Sean. Have a great weekend, guys. Definitely, Humberto. We'll see you back here on Monday. What's the profits for today? Profits are all right. I mean, if I didn't take that loss, there would have been better, but it's all good. Take a look at everyone else's profits over here as well. It's 7:46 right now, guys, so it's getting close to 8. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. I don't really have anything for me to take at the moment as it gets close to 8, but I do see everyone else's profits right here. Kevin said this is playing out just like I thought. Price has almost reached the big red candle from July 13th, holding until the candle fills, and it did. So he locked in a total profit of 100,000 for this week or for this day. Yeah, it's crazy. So solid work right there, Kevin. With that, here's his other account on FTMO, I believe. Up pretty crazy on this account too. So solid work right there. Another one right here. Yeah, Kevin's on fire today. And when's Kevin not on fire, right? Every day. So this is, yeah, that was his FTMO. Nice. And here is Scotty. Scotty took a couple sells today, locked in a total profit of 1,515. Great work, Scotty. Gosh, and Maddie actually took this one right here. Missed it. Maddie took this reversal, the K2 high-low reversal right here. Nice. MJ took it as well. Milzon just sent in his profits. I'll take a look at that shortly. So looking back, over here, some more profits by you guys. The Milzon over here locked in a total profit of 627 right here. Nice work, Milzon. It's like you had a kind of back and forth right there around. But overall, still pretty good. 627 off this account. 428 off this account. And 793 off this account. Nice. So solid work right there, Milzon, across all of his accounts right here. Up about 700 off this one, 400, 600 off this one. Jay over here as well. He said, didn't know I was trading Euro last minute, but all good. So Jay was actually, he accidentally entered this Euro USD trade. He thought he was on US30, locked in a total profit of 975 for the day. So it's all good. Same thing with me. We both made the mistake today taking a trade that we weren't really following. Again, right here, Jay on his other account, he made, or same account, but he made another profit, total profit of 1,297. So nice work, Jay. Yeah, you guys did pretty solid today. I mean, the market was kind of choppy. But you guys still locked in some solid profit. Patricia over here as well. Nice. So Patricia over here, I had one win, one loss, one bigger win right here. Total profit of 1,655. So nice work right there too, Patricia. And I see this is your FTMO. FTMO looks good. I'm sure you're probably having issues with MFF too, like myself. So her first FTMO locked in 1,655. Her second FTMO over here, she locked in a total of 2,044. Nice. So solid profit across both your accounts right there, Patricia. Patrick over here said taking half lots due to bias not lining up, but taking both directions. He locked in a total profit of 3,330 for the day. Great work, Patrick. Yeah. So when there's no bias in the market, guys, you can technically trade in both directions, right? Because price can really go either way. It's not necessarily recommended unless you know what you're doing. But if you are familiar with like, the price action and the direction of price, then you can do that both ways. So you don't have to limit yourself. The only reason I tell you guys to trade in a direction of a bias is if you're not familiar with managing the position or managing your analysis, because it's not easy, right? We make it look easy when we analyze things here, but I'm trying to instill like good habits, good trading habits within you guys, because the last thing you want to do is to start just to trade everywhere, and then you end up blowing your account because you take all the bad trades. So there's nothing wrong with trading both ways if you know what you're doing, but if you're not and you're still a beginner, then it would be best to trade in the direction of a bias. So just keep that in mind. Let's see if we have anything over here. Price is pretty much just ranging right now. How far is it from this area over here? Yeah, not really much. I was kind of tempted to take this here for a buy, if it closed with the buy signal, but it's still a bit iffy. So like the main things that I was looking at right here, looking at the previous lows, there's an engulfing right here, and then another engulfing right here, basically a high-low reversal. There's two of them right here. It's 1, 2. But one thing that I would like to see is like a variation of some sort, right? So I'll probably follow it. I probably won't take it, but I'll follow it right here. It's also getting really close to 8 too. So I don't like taking trades once we get close to that time period. Yeah, and also Tody mentioned that price is in a range. Yeah, and I agree with you too, Tody. If price is moving directional like it was right here, then yeah, great. But price is pretty much in a range. So not necessarily a good time to enter any of these types of trades. It's still in the same range that we drew earlier. It just got tighter. So the range that I drew earlier today was basically this, but now price is actually tighter within here. So basically a range within a range. There's a big range and there's a small range. Yeah, Tody said pivot scalps don't work in a range, almost always lose. And I agree with you too, Tody. It's a directional strategy. So you basically want price to be directional or moving in one direction or the other. Nice. So Maddie caught that as well. So Maddie said only one account today, sat the others today. Yeah, no, great move there, Maddie. This is something that you guys should do too. Like if you guys want to trade on a risky day, like say a Friday or a Monday, you guys can always just trade one account. So Maddie here traded just one account, took a buy right there, locked me a total profit of 790. So one account right here, 790. And then the other ones over here, he didn't trade them at all. So yeah, solid. Other than that, yeah, Patricia said, Sean, I noticed the DOM on MFF stop needs to be at like 160 to 165, where FTMO 1500 is fine. MFF playing games, traded on two different computers. MFF stopped me out. FTMO did not. Wow, that's weird. Yeah, it seems like there's been a lot of issues with MFF for the past couple of weeks. Thanks for the heads up, Patricia. It's good to know. I mean, we already knew that they were kind of like their service was not as good as FTMO, but you confirmed it because you traded on two different computers. It's not based off the copier. It's really just their execution. Yeah, Patricia said something's going on with them. Tody said they have a new broker, I think. Yeah, E said it happened to him last night too. Yeah, so it seems like a lot of you guys are having issues with MFF. I mean, you guys can see the price difference here from all my trades. Initially, we thought it was just the copier, but realistically, it looks like it's just MFF in general. So, I mean, it is what it is. Got to deal with it, but hopefully they fix it. If not, I have to just stick with FTMO. Let's see. Patricia said might have to lower lot size and increase stop a bit on MFF. Yeah, I can see that too, Patricia. Yeah, it's a setting I could fix on the on the on the copier, or I don't know. I'll figure a workaround for it. Yeah, Bethany said definitely have to increase stop loss on MFF to get stopped out. E said it's not a problem if you use FTMO as a main since it's not copying over to their. Yeah, no, and I agree with you too, E. It's not a problem for that if you're not copying over the TP stop loss, but the execution times are still slower and the spread in price is different too. Because I've seen like pretty much for the past month or 2 months, the profits have been like way different. Like this slippage didn't work in my favor, and then it didn't work in my favor either. It was supposed to be 1500 flat, so it's supposed to be 1500 loss, 1500 win, but this was like bigger loss, smaller win. Yeah, E said it's because executing a 10 lot sucks on MFF. You'll notice if you enter a 5 lot twice, it'll be much faster. Yeah, I think their execution time just sucks because it's a bigger lot size. I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. As of now, it's not horrible, but it is getting kind of annoying to manage. Tody said, Sean, you have back. No, I don't. So these are new challenges. These MFFs right here are new challenges. Tody, they didn't give me my accounts back, unfortunately. They basically said it was my fault, which I agree, it was my fault. I did take an incorrect lot size. So they just basically I just had to pay to have them reset. And then I just have to do the challenge again on them, which sucks, but it's better than not having the accounts. Kill said gonna call it. See you on Monday, Sean. Definitely Kill. So we'll see you on then. Have a great weekend. There goes a pivot scalp that I was waiting for. I'm not gonna take this trade. We'll follow it. It's too late to enter. Looks like it's gonna hit TP already anyways. Yeah, I'm not gonna enter it. It's too close to 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock is my cutoff. This is usually when the market starts to move sideways or it just starts to move funny in general. Yeah, this is a pivot scalp that came up right here. It's pivot scalp plus intraday entry. There was a couple of reversal patterns here. What I personally would like to see is not just the reversal patterns, but I like to see like a variation here of some sort. There's no variation here. I'd like to see like a double body or a double wick. And it was still in a range too. So just like Tody said, it's not a good entry to take. So I'm not taking it. I'm glad we didn't take it. I would have been some drawdown right now. But yeah, so here's basically quality save K2 entry. I'll probably have to come up with a name for this, but I'm just gonna put right here exactly what we're looking for. So strategies to apply would be the K2 pivot scalp strategy. K2 intraday strategy. confirmations, K2 variations, or K2 high-low reversal. So it looks like the pivot scalp is actually playing out, which is cool, but obviously I didn't want to take it. But basically, and I'll just show you an example, Maddie, now since we have time, since it's after 8. And it did hit full TP right there for that pivot scalp. So for this one right here, this is the one that I was looking for. Basically for this strategy here, Maddie, it's basically what Sisuk was talking about the other day. You know how he just applies just these two strategies. He either applies the pivot scalp or the pivot intraday. I mean, the pivot scalp or the K2 intraday. So like, for example, here, this entry applies for both of the strategies. For example, here we have a momentum signal. It's above the pivot. So that's a pivot scalp entry, right? On top of that, it's also a pivot K2 intraday strategy because we have a buy momentum signal here and the trend mirror is green. The confirmations that you want to look for would be a K2 variation or a K2 reversal. You just look back at the previous lows. So it cuts off right here, right? This is where it cuts off because there's no other lows before this. There's actually the low is higher over here. So looking at this below here, you're basically just looking back to see any hints if price is going to keep pushing up or not. So looking back over here at this low, you can see that this is a K2 high-low reversal, right? It's an engulfing pattern. Oops, wrong tool. It's an engulfing pattern because you have the low here. This red candle is engulfing it. You look back at the previous one, it's another reversal pattern, right here. It's another engulfing K2 high-low reversal. So basically what you're looking for here is you're looking for price to come down and you're looking for that reversal. So it's coming down, reversal right here, confirmation, another reversal confirmation. The actual entry is right here for the pivot scalp and intraday. And if you have that, this gives you the confirmation that it's a quality trade because you have an actual entry here. And then you look back to the previous lows and you see that there's a confirmation that like the reversal is coming or it's going to continue. So yeah, exactly. So you have an entry here and then you're confirming the direction down here. This is what I was going over earlier. But if you want to rewatch the replay later, Maddie, you can review it and then you'll see that it's pretty simple. So basically, whenever you see an entry using any of these strategies, the pivot scalp or intraday, you just want to look back to the previous lows. So if you're looking for a buy, you want to look back at the previous lows. If you're looking for a sell, you want to look back at the previous highs, right? So this was an example of a buy, and then vice versa. If you're looking for a sell, I'm just going to see if I can find one here so I can show you real quick before we get off the live. I don't think there were any sells recently. Actually, there's one right here. All right, so let me show you just one right here, Maddie, before we log off for the day. So basically right here is a pivot scalp entry, right? You have a momentum signal close below the pivots. You look at the previous highs over here. So basically you're just identifying a confirmation of the direction. So for the previous high right here, we have a variation, right? It's a double body. So we have a double body and it's also a K2 high-low reversal. It's a engulfing pattern. So this is engulfing right here, and it's also a variation. And then you look back at the previous one over here. Same thing. It's another engulfing pattern, right? You have this high here, and this candle right here is engulfing it. So this is indicating that price is probably going to keep dropping. Right here, we have an pivot scalp entry. You take this for a short. You're basically just confirming, like you're giving yourself the higher confidence that it's going to hit. You take that for a pivot scalp and full TP. So, I mean, it's pretty simple. I mean, you just want to look back. Whenever you take an entry, just look back to the previous highs and the previous lows and identify if, it's probably going to keep pushing there or not. Kodi said, I entered on this pivot scalp. MFF gave me a 5-point slippage on my entry. Anyways, it hit TP. So that's good. But yeah, no, I'm glad to see a lot of you guys here still profiting off that. If you guys have anything else here. Nice. Kevin here actually took it as well. He took the buy there, locked in a total profit of 2,000. off these two buys. So nice work, Kevin. He actually took that. I should have taken it too. I was already convinced to take it, but I didn't take it because I was it was past 8. Actually, it was like right at 8, but whatever. It's all good. I'm glad to see a lot of you guys here did lock it in. So if you guys have any other questions, I think this might be it for this session and for this week. So I don't see any other questions here. But yeah, if you guys have any questions, feel free to email me or message me on Telegram. Otherwise, I think we're gonna wrap this up for the week. I'm gonna go take my COVID test. Hopefully I no longer have COVID. I've been cooped up here. It's been driving me crazy because I've just been back testing all week. And that's where I'm getting all of these like ideas. Like for example, the high-low reversal strategy, right? I've been applying this strategy for years, but I didn't never really thought to teach you guys it because I stopped applying it. But since I've been on the computer pretty much all day, every day for the past week and a half because of COVID, I've kind of just been going crazy with my back testing. So, all right, guys, I think that's it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to email me or message me. I'm gonna go take my COVID test. Hopefully I'm negative so I can finally go back to the gym and get out of my office here. So, yeah, guys, have a great weekend. Otherwise, if you guys don't have to trade, I would just sit out the week and come back Monday fresh. So other than that, guys, have a great weekend. Be safe. I will see you guys then. And if you guys have questions, feel free to reach out. Otherwise, I will be back here, same place, same time on Monday for market open. So see you guys, and I'll see you guys